This message is also not peaceful, and it is a continuation of the previous one. So I'm not going to greet everybody with peace. Those of you that are claiming to be B1, if you are sincere, then you don't have to take offense at what I'm saying. If you are sincerely pro-black and B1, then we generally agree. So you should not take offense. You don't even have to continue playing this. If you are a fake, then you need to listen. If you are against the black manosphere for any reason other than that somebody lied to you, you're a fake. Now, if someone lied to you and told you that we in the black manosphere are against black women because they're black and we hate ourselves, then in that case, you were lied to. And I can understand how being a sincere pro-black, that would offend you, because I would have been offended. One of the first times I heard Lion of MGTOW talk, he said something about Klingon bitches, and I thought that he was using a racist term to refer to black women. I didn't know, but I listened more before jumping to before jumping to assumptions. I found out, number one, he's black. Number two, he's not calling them Klingon bitches because they're black. He's calling them Klingon bitches because of the way they view themselves and the way they behave. Therefore, they're from. You understand? So I learned something. Now, if you were told that we just hate black women because they're black and we just want all the non-black women, and that's what you were told, and you had a problem with us, you could listen and learn, but I'm not going in after you because you were lied to. What else do you know other than the lies they told you? But now I'm letting you know they were lies. Black manosphere men, whether it's IBMOR, SYSBM, Passport Gang, or Passport Brothers, are not against black women. We have debates oftentimes because some of us like Asian women, others of us like African women, others of us like both. I won't front. I can't lie. To me, Asian women are nice to look at when they have some melanin. Oh, they're great to look at. I'm not necessarily for or against them as a whole because they're different even from each other. But I would consider a Muslim from Malaysia, maybe Indonesia, or the southern Philippines or southern Thailand if I had not met my wife now. She's teaching now in the other room. But she is actually an African woman with a U.S. passport. She has access to 2 passports. I might need that one day. She is very good to me, and she spoils the hell out of me. So when I talk, I'm telling you as a man that actually is pro-black. I chose Islam not only because I was convinced of the religion itself, and I was, but also because I could see how it would help the black community if we actually adopted it. Some people would say, yeah, well, Sudan they Muslim and they black. Well, the reason that they had the issues is because they were sanctioned. That's really what it came down to. They were okay. I mean, they were doing about as well as other African nations before they got sanctioned. Now, there was a war going on, but it wasn't being fought everywhere. And now that war is over, and the nation was still sanctioned all the way up until 2016. By the U.S. Most of us didn't know that. I didn't know. I've been working and teaching with Sudanese teachers all this time, bonding with them. Why? We black and we Muslim. And we don't have an inferiority complex. No, Sudanese people do not have an inferiority complex about being black. And guess what? I didn't know there was sanctioned because they never told me that they were going through sanctions in their home country. They never said a mumbling word to me about that. They never did. I knew of no sanctions until 2 months before they ended. I want you to stop and think about that. That's how nice they were. They didn't blame me. Now, let me get straight to this for part 2. And there's going to be a part 3 and a part 4 because I'm not done listening to the one and only Cookie Monster. I'm still listening. I'm at 2 hours now. I just broke past 2 hours. And I'm going to explain something. First off, to you fake pro-blacks, you really pro-wacks, you no-tips, and you C1s, crazies first. I'm explaining this to you. Although it may appear that I hate black women, which I don't, The truth be told, even the Western black woman to whom my heart does go out is her, because of what she's actually been through in life. And here she was, as she said, being used and weaponized against men. And she found out that these men were being falsely accused. And she was not willing to join in and accuse men that didn't do these things that some other people had done to her when she was younger. Far younger. That's a grown woman. Now, her mouth was dirty as all get out, but when you find out that people are using you to go after innocent people, yeah, I get it. And I want you to understand something. She's one of the women I was talking about when I would say, you got some of these good women and they really been through some stuff, but they get snatched up. That was her. You can hear the principle in which she's saying. Even if she doesn't agree with the manosphere, the black manosphere specifically, she's not going to sit up here and say bad things about innocent people. And even complimented Mr. Fantastic. Said she found out that he was, a married man with a beautiful wife and he had assets. That man's more successful than I do. Than I am. I know that now. Shout out to Mr. Fantastic. And my black heart truly goes out to Cookie Monster for what she's had to deal with. I really am sorry to hear that she had to deal with that. And I know that there are others that were actually victims. I get that. But then you got these grown adults just acting all kind of irresponsible ways, and they want to sit up and throw mud on the wall and see what sticks. Meaning, what can we get these men blamed for? Game Change is not into kids. Mr. Fantastic is not doing anything. Game Change ain't raping nobody. The man bought a stove for a woman down in the DR. He admitted that. And I'm not into tricking. I don't even promote it for you. I don't condone tricking. But most of you don't have a problem with it necessarily. I mean, you never got on him about him tricking per se. You got on him because he did it for a non-American, not completely black woman. As if we're not mixed in the Americas, even in North America. As if to say that. You all think that when we go down into Colombia, and I really shouldn't say we because I don't do that, but when you think that when black men go into Colombia and the Dominican Republic and Brazil, that they're chasing after the whitest woman they can find. No, these brothers, actually a lot of them do prefer the women that are intermediate and black. See, a lot of these guys, if they do go down and trick, they don't limit themselves to one. But they're not refusing the black phenotype. And these guys are going. And they're meeting these folks. They're meeting these women. And the women may be approaching them. The women may not. They're getting choosing signals they didn't get in the States. And what is the reason for that? You mean to tell me that black American women can't find enough for all this shortage of good men? They sure don't act like there's a shortage. So yeah, of course, the men are going to go somewhere where they're appreciated, whether there's a shortage or not. They go somewhere. And y'all might say, well, it's just what you have in the American dollar and the passport. Okay, well, see, stop and think about how much you have to have in the United States to get an attractive and decently educated black woman to show you choosing signals that white women would already show you. And we know white women. And I've even said, you fake ass C1s and pro-wacks and no-teps. I've even said to black men, look, bounce on the States, bounce out the West, but don't overlook black women that are not Western. Give them a shot. Avoid the women that come from cultures that don't look up to us. And I've even listed these cultures by name. The Arabs that are not black, because they're black Arabs. And they have different attitudes about us. The Pakistanis, the Northern Indians especially, maybe Southern, but definitely Northern, I already know. The Afghans and the Persians, I've called them out by name. Chinese and the Koreans, I pretty much told you, they don't really look up to us. Bounce on them. Leave them be. Because see, remember, I'm talking about marriage. Now, if these cats are just tricking and they ain't having babies with them, I can't necessarily say that they're putting themselves or their kids in that kind of danger per se. But what I can say is that they may be putting themselves in danger. It just depends on how the people react, if they even care, and they may not. I don't know. I know in Greece, an African-American brother died, and the people that killed him, they got away with it. They all got convicted for the assault, but none of them could be convicted for the murder. because the law works differently. But guess what, though? He was dealing with, it was a Serbian woman that was trying to holler at this dude. That's the funny thing. And some Serbian men got upset because Serbians are not the same as Bosnians. Remember, they were fighting with each other. They used to be. The Bosnians tried to integrate with the Serbians. Does that story sound familiar? Oh, yeah. But the Serbians eventually, and mind you, they're both white, but the Serbians eventually said, we're Christian and they're Muslim and we're not integrating with them. We don't care how much of their religion they give up. We're going to wipe them out. And they tried to do it. And then the Bosnians fought back. So I'm telling you, the Serbians can be nasty as shit. They are not to be underestimated in their hatred for not only Muslims, but for darker people as well. So they beat this man, Jabari, to death. And his mother went to trial in Greece, and the guys got off lightly because they couldn't prove which one had killed him. That's some punk stuff. So I do say, yeah, avoid the ones that are dangerous, or whose men could be dangerous to you. I do say avoid them. And see, that's because I actually am sincerely pro-black, and you niggas are not. How are you not sincerely pro-black or B1? It's simple. You're not telling black men to get the best women, or even to get the best black women for that matter. You're telling them to stay in the West and deal with the worst black woman in the world and the second to worst woman in the world. The only thing you and I agree on is that we should leave them white women alone. That's all we agree on. But you niggas, man, I mean, y'all are like, look, Boom Shika and Sapphire and Bonquisha, you know, they traumatized. I've said that black women were traumatized. I've had compassion for that. Well, now the one that's been traumatized, Cookie Monster, is taking a principled stand and airing out and dox or exposing those who are trying to dox and falsely accuse us because we simply said one thing: we're not going to settle for being mistreated by anybody at all, period. And we do not pay pussy prices for other men to play without paying. We don't do that. We're not going to accept lesser treatment. We're not going to accept having to do and be and have more than some other guy to get the same results from it, let alone lesser results. And all we said was that. We didn't say we were swearing off black women. We said we were swearing off black Western women. The Wicked Witch of the West. Sapphire, Boom Shika, Neck Roller, Finger Snapper, Loud Talker, Fist Fight in the Streets. Well, Star, we said we were leaving her alone. And what did your women do? The gynocracy. And you niggas were right behind them, supporting them. Especially the one that's always going up in people's chat rooms and trolling, and then going on panels and trolling if he can. Super Sly. Nigga, you an enemy. You were throwing around false rape accusations and pedo accusations just cause. See, Boogie, you are too. You want to talk about somebody that got bailed out by an SYSBM man because he beat a woman? Well, I don't agree with that kind of stuff. But the truth be told, if a woman had falsely accused me to the cops, I wouldn't beat her. I would kill her if I could get away with it. I'd kill anybody, man or woman, if I could get away with something like that and they had falsely accused me of something else. So I wouldn't be beating them and I wouldn't be in jail for beating them. I'd be dead because I'd killed them, or I would be undiscovered after I'd killed. It's one of the two, because when they tell me put your hands up, I'm like, no, I'm going to reach for my gun now. I'm going to give you time to aim for my head, then I'm going to reach for my gun. Tell my parents and my kids I love them. You and I are going to go and meet God face to face and see which one of us is right and which one of us is wrong. Not because I'm brave, but because I'm actually more terrified of captivity than I am of dying. See, standing in front of a human judge, black or white, especially white, I don't expect to get fair treatment. Standing in front of the Lord, the judge of judges and the King of kings, I at least know that if he punishes me for something, it's something I did. He's not going to punish me for things I didn't do, over which I had no control. So it was actually an act of cowardice that would inspire me to tell them, please aim for my head. I'm about to reach for my weapon. You probably going to be able to keep your job if this is being recorded. Last thing I would say, there is no God but God. Muhammad is a slave servant and messenger. Not because I'm tough, but actually because I don't have the patience to deal with these trials of human beings. God does not test the soul more than it can bear. But niggas, White niggas or black niggas, any niggas, meaning ignorant bastards of whatever origin, will test people more than we can bear. Human beings drive each other crazy. And you niggas are no exception. For all your talk about B1 like it's something, you have lost the morality that it takes to be a sincere pro-black. Pro-blackness was born out of a moral understanding that their repression of us was wrong and our self-hatred was wrong. Now, what is it to be pro-black? Well, it means that the black men who are like Urkel, because, to all of you, to many of you, if we're not womanizers and players, then we're all Urkel. There's no in between with you. So, the black man that the women don't want should get out there and focus on, focus on this, that, and the other, focus on their work and get the resources so they can take care of these single moms and babies later. So while we, those of us who the women want to fuck, pardon my French, can just keep on fucking and not pay nothing, and then they'll take care, and these other guys will take care of the babies that we're going to leave behind. That's what the hell it is. And while I do appreciate when men of their own accord are capable of taking care of someone else's children, I appreciate that mercy. The thing is that is not something you can push on to someone else. That's not something that childless men should have to do for the sake of the community when the community does not respect them in the first damn place, starting with its women. Let's call it what the hell it is. You know that in any, let's take the school settings that we got. We know doggone well that in any high school, a black man, a black boy like Urkel is going to catch it more from the women than he is from the guys. We know this now. I'm not saying he won't catch it from both, but he's going to catch it more from the women. Oh, I'm your friend. I want you, and while she jiggles tits in his face to try to tease the guy, listen, I want you to tell my mom I'm at your house. I'm going to see my boyfriend. Oh, that's what you want? But why are you jiggling tits in my face? Oh, you my friend. Boyfriend asks her for some money. She goes to the Urkel. Hey, Urkel, you got some money? That's what it's, now that's in high school, and it just develops from there, and it just takes on a different context as we get older. And you're saying to us that we should stay there, and what you're doing is you're trying to reverse pimp us to the worst woman in the world. I'm the second worst woman in the world, and the worst black woman in the world, and you're mad. And your gynocrat bosses are mad because we said, no, we see the deal and we're bouncing because over there in Cambodia, we're first. They want us. If they don't, they just leave us alone. They ain't disrespecting us. The worst they're doing is not necessarily disrespectful. And I know that there are some women over there in those countries that will try this stuff if they can try it. That's usually after they get pregnant. That's when they start thinking and scheming, though. They done got pregnant by some guy and they can't abort the baby for whatever reason. And, they don't want to come tell their parents. So they try to, fool some other guy into thinking he's the dad. Now, they may do that. I mean, a Filipino woman tried that on a friend of mine here in the Gulf. He's a citizen. She tried it, but she was a lowlife. Her brother was in on it. But how often did that happen? It didn't. When he decided he was going to try to marry, a good woman from this local area right here, his parents were like, well, okay, look, just work a little longer, save up a little bit more money. And the women's parents were like that too. He said, bump this, I'm not going into debt to get married. So what did he do? He found a Filipina that had become Muslim. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He met a Filipina somehow. I think it was at a hospital maybe. He introduced her to Islam and she said, oh, this makes sense. She accepted it. Then they began to like each other. She may have liked him from the jump. Whatever the case is, they decided to get married. They didn't do anything wrong. They got married. And I'm pretty sure that he got up in that tight punani, and I'm sure both of them hollered and screamed, and he sprayed the cervix raw dog. Now they got a son. I'm talking about after they got married. I'm pretty sure this is what happened because they tied the knot. So the point is that he found one bad woman that was like aggressively trying to, marry him. But she was already pregnant with someone else. And it was her brother that finally came to him and said, look, because he was not falling for it. He knew something was wrong. The brother came and said, yeah, she's pregnant with somebody else. So y'all gonna try to put this baby off on me? The brother was like, I don't like the idea. That's why I'm coming and telling you. Yeah. But when he decided to get a good woman from the same country, it didn't hardly take anything at all. At all. It was no problem. He wanted to get a good woman from the same country. He did. And that's what we're dealing with. We can't go into Black America and find this. Are there women like that? Yes. The original Cookie Monster is one of them. She's also snatched up. She's now a mother and a grandmother. But look what the guilty women that you all love and support so much tried to do to her. They decided, okay, well, we're going to use her because of what she survived to try to falsely accuse these other guys of doing the same things. And she took the principled stance and said, wait, they didn't do this stuff. I'm not going for this. That's what happened. Blew the lid off you niggas and showed us exactly how much worse the Wicked Witch of the West is than what we even knew. Showed us how much worse she is. And you niggas been trying to reverse pimp us to her all this time. Not to original Cookie Monster when I say reverse pimp us to her. You've been trying to reverse pimp us to, to the Western Black woman who has been legally married to white men while saying they're not. Are you effing kidding me? Because see, now I understand what the Black woman actually wants. And I'm offended by it. The Black woman in the West, and a lot of them even in Africa, they want that white man. And I, for one, because I am sincerely pro-Black, which means that to a certain extent, I have to be anti-white on a collective basis. Individually, like I said, you take people as they come. But on a collective basis, I must be anti-white because they're the goddamn problem. So I'm not going to be able to forgive the Western Black woman for preferring the most oppressive man on the planet over other men of color. I would have been more okay with it if Black women wanted Latin American men that were mestizo. Maybe even Arab men. Maybe. They're a little bit too white for my taste too. But to prefer not even the Pakistani man or the Arab man or the specifically the white man, I'm not going to be able to forgive her. How dare she prefer the worst man on the planet? After putting up a front for so many decades and generations, like that's the last thing she wanted. After I was told and shown in so many words that because of my resemblance to them, I would not be treated well even by the ones that wanted me. I'm supposed to accept this? No, I'm not doing that. No, sir. So to really be pro-Black, you have to be honest about what each gender wants from the other. Black women don't want the Black man, so we can't be pro-Black telling Black men to limit themselves to the woman that wants them the very effing least and disrespects him the very most, on average. This ain't this just sometimes it's just what you could get. No, that's on average, bro. See, the Cookie Monster is not going to want every Black man she sees. She's married anyway. But if there's a Black man she doesn't want, then either they work together and she works well with him and doesn't bother him, or she just doesn't bother him at all. She leaves him alone. Maybe she passes him by on the street, nothing more than a wave, good morning, if there's nobody else around, and that's it. But she's not out here looking to ruin other men from what I can understand. She doesn't sound like that kind of lady. But you were sitting up here trying to tell us to limit ourselves to women that not only don't want us, but actually are looking to use most of us for resources so that they can fuck the same few of us without asking them for anything. Because some of you guys, either you're that dude or you want to be that dude. So you feel like we should have to sit there and pay. You niggas are stupid. Just for thinking that. You are not pro-Black. You're too dumb to be pro-Black if that's what you think. If you're not willing to accept that there is a problem between Black men and Black women in the West, and it is not the fault of the man, then you niggas don't have the IQ necessary to be sincerely pro-Black. Be one. What you claim to be. Because if you really were, you would tell Black women, hey, look, do what's best for you. And it ain't that white man. And you would tell Black men, do what's best for you. And it ain't that white woman. We already know that. That's obvious. Because, see, I've already told Black men, look, man, you leave alone the ones that come from backgrounds that don't want you. I've said this. That's really pro-Black. But I can't sit up here and talk about an idea of racial purity because even within Africa, you don't necessarily have pure bloodlines because Africans are mixed even with each other and we're not all the same. So you have different bloodlines within Africa, and that's where the most genetic diversity lies. The Khoi and the San Bushmen are actually naturally very light-skinned with no admixture. But, nowadays, some of you guys are so-called pro-black that you want to kick them out the race. The few of them that are left. After what the Dutch did, damn near wiped them extinct, some of you want to do that. But they ain't black enough. What, you gonna go to Nigeria and to Igbo villages and tell a bunch of light-skinned Igbos you ain't black enough, and they're living in villages and they don't have any admixture? That's what you gonna do that? Because some of you niggas already want to start off in East Africa and tell them y'all just white folks dipped in chocolate. No, there's actually a tribe in Ethiopia, unmixed, because they live so far up. It's some mountain they live on the side of, very high up, and it's very cold. Their hair is naturally straight. And that temperature, they would need that. And they're very pale because they don't go out in the sunlight a lot of times. They actually dig some dwellings into the mountain and they stay in there. I don't know the name of the tribe. Indians see them and think they're Indian. Ethiopians see them and think they're Indian, but they're Ethiopian. Without admixture, they look like this because of the climate in which they've been living since anybody can remember, since before human beings started writing in any language. We are the original people. That means everybody else got their traits from us, not the reverse. But some of you don't even want to accept natural African genetic diversity. And I'm not saying that we're not mixed in and outside of Africa. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that when we are unmixed, but we don't have specifically the phenotype that white folks call ugly, may Allah curse them for that, then some of you want to sit up and say, well, that's not real black. White folks have to call you ugly in order for you to really be black. Black. Are you kidding me? If you want to fight European beauty standards, be my guest. I'm with you on that. But you can't use white folks' beauty standards to determine, or the absence thereof, to determine someone's blackness. It doesn't work like that. You're going to take somebody with the nappiest of hair and the darkest of skin, but because their nose is small, you're going to say, you ain't black. That's what's going to happen one day, the way you guys are going, the direction in which you're going. You're not sincerely pro-black because you will take actual Africans who aren't mixed and kick them out the race. But then if they say, okay, all right, well, you said I'm not a part of you. Okay, bye. And they move on and they don't whine and bitch and cry about it. Then you say, see how easy that was? Them niggas ain't real black. They ain't race loyal. Them niggas is traitors, man. They were glad when we told them they could leave. Are you niggas serious? That's what a lot of you niggas are like. No. The real truth is, not only am I more pro-black than you, I'm just frankly blacker than you. Because I'm not trying to kill us. And I'm not trying to hold our community back in any country. But when I look at what you guys have been trying to do and the women you support and what they've been trying to do, you have been trying to do exactly that. This message, this Black Manosphere message of leaving alone the Western scraggle-daggle, Boom Shika, Sapphire, and even Amber and Becky is exactly what the hell we need. That is exactly what we need. And no, that nigga Miko is not one of us. And no, we ain't pedophiles. And no, we're not latent homosexuals. Because in all honesty, if what you want is man butt, you could stay in the States and find out a whole hell of a lot. They've already done studies on it. They've shown that some of the most sexually active people are actually gay males. Well, I'm sorry, gays and lesbians. They've shown they on average, they just carry out a whole lot of sexual acts. Because now the games are gone. They've done away with the games. It's not he's pursuing her and trying to convince her. Now it's more like she and he and he. So, the games are out the window. They just get to doing it. That's what they found already. So if you into man booty, you just stay in the States. No problem. If you're into kids, stay in the States. Hell, stay in the black community and molest your own relatives and the family will keep it a secret. Yeah. Why travel to some third world nation where the prison system is really, really, really bad and unsanitary and deadly and they can't protect you and then get, sent to one of those places for doing something? Like, why would you risk that? No. Matter of fact, if you're really into that, Travel to Scandinavia and do something like that. When they do catch you, you go to a cushier prison in the States. So, you niggas don't even have logic. You niggas all you niggas are now is a bunch of memes that are not true. False information is not true. Pseudoscience and philosophies that can't be proven and actually can even be disproven half the time. Like, we don't come from Africa, but we're also the Moors of civilized Europe. Which one is it? That's what a lot of you niggas are like, man. That's really what the case is. The original black man didn't have to use the bathroom, brother, back in ancient Egypt. Facts, man, facts. I'm sorry, ancient Kemet, brother. Facts, man, facts. The original black man could fly, brother. I mean, you niggas got us acting like, you act like we used to be all Superman and then white folks came along with kryptonite. Are you effing kidding me? That's what it was? Oh, when we were all in ancient Kemet? Well, if that's the case, how do we lose the ability to fly and start having to use the bathroom? If white folks are just savages living in caves, crawling around on all fours. I mean, let's call it what the hell. At what point did the apes overtake the human beings? If that's really what it is. That's what you niggas are like. You don't like research and study. And I know, because when I try to tell people enough to correct a misconception, I get interrupted and shouted down a lot, in real life and digitally. One guy was so goddamn stupid, he was talking about we not from Africa. This was on Taz's live stream. When I spoke, and I don't sound like no white guy, he couldn't tell the difference between me, and the white dude started jumping on me. When I said, wait, hold up, I'm not him. I'm just saying that I gotta go. I actually came here to debate this guy. He started interrupting even then. Motherfucker. Because that's who you niggas are. You're not pro-black. You're pro-wack. You're not B1, you're C1. Crazies first. D1, dick first. That's what you niggas are. And if you even so much as say that black men who are thinking and productive and competent and are not the negative stereotype should be willing to accept the mating standards and preferences, let alone the deception of the Western black woman, you niggas are suicidal. You hate your own people. And the only reason you would hate your own people who don't hate the community and don't hate you is because you want to do things in the community you're not supposed to be able to do. It's really that simple. If you were like that, if it's like this, the one who hates the honest person is the thief. The student that hates his classmate for not cheating is a cheater. And you guys, you're like that. See, one of the ways I bust cheaters as a teacher is real simple. I bust them two ways. Some of them I bust right off the bat directly. I see them cheating. I caught 5 of them doing it yesterday. 4 of them doing it yesterday. They copied straight off a website. I let them talk. I found the websites they got it from, and their search came up. They copied and tried to turn it in like it was theirs. When I busted them, this happens every quarter. When I give the students a sermon about cheating, and I tell them how bad it is, you know what happens? There's students that I didn't catch cheating, and they start to defend the ones who cheated. Then I know these niggas are cheaters too, and I go and I give them zeros if I can get away with it. And that's what you niggas are like. You're mad at black men who don't fit negative stereotypes and benefit from the negativity. You're mad at them. Why? Because you benefit from nigger business, jigabism, porch monkeyism. You benefit from the way that the community acts like the same as niggas in a Tarzan movie. That's why. You benefit from this, and you know you do. And that's why you'll say things like, you're a provider. So what? Well, like I said, she acts like that's what's the most important. And every other woman on the planet acts like that's the most important. So really the question is, if you're a provider, then what's the goddamn problem? And the second question is, if there is another problem, and there may be, I get it. The second question is, if there is another problem, bitch, did you say this out front? Did you tell your son that this could be the problem? That's the first question. Did you teach your own son what women really, really want? There are women that do, but most of them don't. Around the world, West or East, most of them don't do that. But in the West, them bitches been lying to their sons, and you're for it. Because the way you see it, that's less competition for you. The problem is, who's going to tell your son You might be willing to tell your son if you get to spend time with him. But can you, but with the little time that you might have with your son, if you have that much, can you explain something that complex? No, you can't. So you don't even, what you're doing is not even helping your own sons in this regard to avoid those games. I've helped my son to avoid these games and made it safer for him than any of you super select jawline niggas trying to reverse pimp us to these women so that they can use our resources and then bring them and spend them on you. No, nigga, the game's up. You been pimping her, now you want to pimp us too? Nigga, fuck you. You are not pro-black. And I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and the depths of my black mind. You niggas are the real race traitors. Because you've been telling us to limit ourselves to the very worst of them. When their situation finally catches up to them, you want us to limit ourselves to them. For what? So that you can continue to go ahead and try to use our resources to impress the ones of them that got a little bit more class as you get older. That's why? Stupid nigga. I think I said enough. And I don't apologize for what I've said. Only reason I wasn't talking a hell of a lot louder is because my wife's in the next room doing her job teaching. And I wasn't trying to disturb her class. But there's going to be a part 3 because I'm going to listen to more of what she's got to say. The more I find out, listen, to those of you that are in my audience already previously, like you SYSBM, more, if you truly are pro-black, let's go ahead and get this message out there. That these so-called B1s, so-called the ones we've been calling pro-wacks, really ain't even pro-black to begin with. That we've really been more pro-black than they have. I recommended Islam as a solution because I am pro-black. That was the reason. This can work for us. That's why a lot of you recommend passports in different parts of the world because you actually are pro-black. You understand that she ain't gonna save the community because she's second in charge on the plantation. You understand that it's gonna be up to you, Junebug, and a few of them may decide to join us, leave the matriarchy and gynocracy and join and try to save. But you understand it. You're actually more pro-black than they are. They're trying to keep it, they're trying to maintain it as a plantation. So when you get ready to run away for freedom, oh man, you're going to leave all of us behind? Fucking right. Yes, I am. I can't wait. Because you niggas are here for a reason. The internal and the external reason got you here. I'm going to sneak past the external because I've already gotten rid of the internal. You niggas are not looking to sneak past the external reasons because internally you're stuck on it. That's what it comes down to. So we need to let them niggas know, man, they ain't pro-black. They're not. And don't let them claim this moniker anymore, this title for themselves anymore. Them niggas ain't B1. You're B1. Like I said a few days ago. And now Cookie Monster has come out and proved it. I'm sorry, has proven it. Forgive my English. It's the blackest of the black, sign of blackout. Black, male, heterosexual power, specifically, shout out to dark power, specifically because the matriarchy and the gynocracy don't like it.